This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. So, the other day, unexpectedly, everybody knows that Pete from CMON is a very good friend of mine. And he decided to send me something, and I want to thank him, and of course CMON and all their kind and generosity. But honestly, here's the thing. I've never been a Munchkin fan. I never got the humor. I'm more of a wargamer, a Games Workshop type of guy, you know, dark dungeon crawls, trying to, you know, figure your way out of things. And I never got the humor too much or had much fun with the game. It's a take that type of game. But when I got this, I said, you know something, I gotta at least give it a try and see what it's about. After all, I mean, it's based on Steve Jackson's Munchkin, but there's a certain name here that if you put that name in there, all of a sudden it becomes gold, and that's Eric Lang. So I was very curious at what they would come up with as far as Munchkin Dungeon. Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table and take a look at the game and see how it works a little bit. And is it something that might change my mind? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table. Now, of course, the first thing you want to take a look at is Cool Mini or not is involved. What do you expect? Or CMON, as they're called now. Really fun, fantastic. Once again, I mean, what more would you expect than great miniatures in this partnership? And this partnership has really got my fascination. These look fun to paint. There's something that's a little bit different, but something that I think will be very enjoyable. I love the heroes. There's fantastic detail. And it, you know, it has that different type of feel that you can have a real blast painting these up and do a lot of different things. I mean, really, out of the imagination. Just look at this dude, though. He means business. But definitely beautifully sculpted, fantastic, and will be fun. I think if you're a beginning painter, this is a great place to start with these, and I think you will have a phenomenal time painting this up. So let's go and take a look at the board and talk a little bit about the game. So I'm not going to explain everything, but I'm just going to kind of show you. What you're going to do is randomly put out these cards. Of course, anywhere with a monster has to have a monster card. Now, how do you know it's a monster card? It's going to tell you on the back here, which is going to make things real easy for you. You're going to lay out all these cards, and then you're going to lay out all the miniatures where the monsters are. Like, for instance, we see the harpy here. Well, that's where she's going to go. And that's going to be a room with a monster. And, of course, this dude here, which is the insurance salesman, which is the enemy of everyone, and of course the one that everybody gets a kick out the nose, and you're going to fill this up, and you're also going to pick whatever boss you decide. The game comes with two different bosses. This one just happens to be the one that we're going to be taking a look at. What you're going to be trying to do is you're going to try to go down and you're going to be trying to level yourself up to become more powerful and get re-rolls and stuff like that. You're going to be using your combat dice to try to defeat rooms and things like that. Each player is going to be dealt a bunch of these threat cards, okay, at least 4, and you always have to have 4, and if you use a couple, you're going to go back up. You're going to be using these against your opponent, okay, whoever's going down. So if you're here and the warrior's here and so forth and so on. So how do you do this? Well, as you go into each room, for instance, we're going to take our turn, you have to go in at least one room each every time. So you're going to have to extend down or work your way across each and every time, as long as you can connect the areas here. It's really going to depend on what you want to do. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to go to this room here, and you're going to see on the card here, and I'm going to pull the card up so you can see it, it says 2 threat. So every time you go into a room, you're going to take 2 threat tokens and you're going to put them in this pool. Now, what you think, okay, well that wasn't so bad. Okay, when you go in this room, you can gain a potion. Okay, a potion is going to give you an extra die. Anytime you use a potion, you can roll an extra die when fighting something. So that seems pretty easy. And say you want to push forward even farther. Well, that's going to be another 2 threat. And meanwhile, your opponent is just sitting there not saying too much. So you put threat here. What threat does is with these threat cards that each player gets, you're giving him the power to use something against you. And they can use that pool anytime you enter into a room. So you enter into a room and maybe say you're going to fight our friend here, the Harpy, okay? You want to defeat the Harpy. The Harpy has 2 health. You're going to roll. Well, he can use some of the threat and also play a card that can really mess you up. So you have to be aware of all these things. As you're going down, you're going to be able to grab different loot, which can help you, but you're always going to have that threat that should I go a little farther? Because as you go farther, there's a greater chance of building up a threat pool and really damaging you and really causing you all kinds of different problems. Now, as you defeat things and negotiate things, you are going to be gaining fame. And as you gain fame, the first one to get to 20, the game ends, and then you count up the victory points. Now, the fame points, excuse me. You're going to get additional fame points for all the loot that you get, okay? That you haven't, used. There may be some that you discard, but you want to try to keep as many of these cards as you possibly can. Also, as you level up, you are going to be attributing more fame, health, and dice. So you want to level up quickly. Also, you're going to be trying to work your way down, all the way down here, and you are going to fight the boss. And when you fight the boss, you are going to face the first of these cards. If the boss is defeated 3 times, the game automatically ends and both sides count up all their fame. Each card gets difficult. So as you can see, level 2, he becomes harder and nastier. And then level 3, he's just full on lookout, okay? Now, how are you going to defeat certain things? You're going to have a chance to roll certain dice, okay? You are going to count up the swords, and these lightning bolts sometimes give you extra powers that may be on your cards and stuff like that. Also in the game, there are super munchkins. These are the real cool, iconic munchkins. Like the Volcry here, which is, she's just nasty. And then the little dude here with the chainsaw, which you see all over the place. As iconic as they come, right? They have a chance of coming into the game, and I'm pretty sure it depends on the loot cards here. They're going to be able to do different things, either to help you or not help you. If you should go down and die, okay, whether you die here or against the boss, you go back to the beginning and you will get what is called a shame token. Look, a little paper bag over the head. I mean, how glorious is that? That is going to be minus a certain amount of victory points every time you die. And believe me, you are going to die because you've got the rooms against you, you got the monsters against you, and you got an additional player against you. So getting down and fighting the boss, which isn't easy to begin with, is very hard. So again, like I said, the game ends on 2 accounts. Either you defeated the boss for the 3rd time, or you attribute 20 fame points. Then you calculate all your fame points, and whoever has the most points is the most famous munchkin of all. And what more could you want than that? One other thing very quickly, as you defeat enemies, you see here that there is a graveyard. Anytime that you have to put in a 3rd enemy, that's going to grab these guys and put these back in their spots. So if you're defeating things, you're going to want to quickly get down, defeat the boss, and get back up here. okay, one of the cards, and hopefully get through that room before somebody else defeats a monster and causes those to come back and repopulate their rooms. Because if they're not there, you can't fight them. But I guarantee you, they're going to be there for sure. All right. That's kind of the gist of it. Let's go up top and get my final thoughts on Munchkin. I never thought I would say this, but I love this game. I really, really, really do. This is a lot of fun. I love the whole dungeon crawl aspect of it. It has enough take that type of stuff, but it doesn't overpower the game. You kind of control it a bit with, as you go down and you're putting threat tokens, you're basically saying, okay, I'm letting you guys play whatever you want because I'm trying to get down to the bottom here. And you have to have a balance of not rushing, because you gotta at least move one each turn. But going down, you want to get leveled up, you want to get as much fame as you can, and the first to 20 or defeat the final boss 3 times. Whoever beats that, you know, the game ends, and then you tally everything up. And there's enough back and forth and things that happen in it that it has depth where it's not overly silly, but it's silly enough that it's enjoyable. But it also has this very strategic part to it, which you wouldn't expect in a Munchkin game. And I was just, you know, I'm in. And, you know, I kind of like silly games, but I'm more like dungeon crawls. You know, that really is my thing. But this I thought was fun. It was enjoyable. The miniatures are beautiful, which I'll be painting. Yes, don't worry, before we even play it. And I love the strategy of it. This is, to me, what I would always want in a Munchkin game. There you go. Munchkin Dungeon really gets very high marks for me. And if you're not a Munchkin fan, listen, go check this out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. This is something that you could play, you know, with an early teenager. It doesn't take long. I think the maximum is 90 minutes. Yeah, 90 minutes. You could play with 2 people and still have a lot of fun, because there's enough to do that it's fun with 2 to 5. Okay? The sweet spot, you know, I couldn't tell you. But, I mean, I was playing it by myself, 2-player, and it has that PvPe type of feel to it that I really, really enjoy. And I was able to kind of shut my brain off and play both sides. I really enjoyed this, and I think it would be fun to play with my family, particularly my son and my daughter. So go out and check it out. You won't be disappointed. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob saying we'll see you soon.